Hello, my name is Hunter. Do you guys mind if I take a quick Snapchat? I have some friends at home, you know. There's a lot of people here. Thank you. Whew, a lot more people than I thought. All right. Hi, my name's Hunter. I'm glad to be here and tell you guys about myself. I don't talk to my parents anymore, but there's a time when we were all a family. My dad had a good job, but then my parents started arguing all the time. I didn't realize they were doing drugs. They didn't seem to care if I went to school or if I was out late. I had a group of neighborhood friends that I would hang out with. We'd get into fights, and we'd do daredevil things like play with airsoft guns. I liked school, so I didn't skip often, but when I would go, I'd get into fights with people all the time. My parents put me into a program called Fairfax. This is a place where you go when you have anger issues. At the time, it didn't change me. I didn't have any supports from my friends or family. At home, my mom would lock me in my room. She was either distant or aggressive with me. When my dad was high on drugs, he would physically abuse me and my older brother. When I was in the 5th grade, I remember making up a lie that my parents wouldn't feed me. I told people that at the school. They saw bruises on me and they called CPS. A man with a recorder interviewed us. They brought all 3 of my brothers into the same room at the same time. We were raised to defend the family, and so we kept things quiet. And my brother would answer the question saying, "We don't want to answer that," to every question, so the truth never came out. My dad was laid off in the summer. I was 9 years old. We became homeless and lived in the back of a 1999 Honda Accord. During the day, we'd drive around and my parents would deal drugs. My dad would have me go with him to beg. It was super embarrassing. The experience made me and my younger brother Ryan super close. We would talk in code almost like we had a secret language. We always had each other's back. Our closet was the trunk of our car. I remember getting bullied for smelling bad because we couldn't shower. My 5th grade teacher would talk to me and keep me company during lunch. He was always someone I could talk to because stuff was really hard at that time. Then one day our parents didn't show up to pick us up from school till 9 p.m. That's when my brother and I were taken into foster care. We were scared because we were separated from our parents and each other. In 8 years, the longest we have been apart was 1 day. We called our social worker about 30 times, insisting we be placed together. The next day, we went to live with Ryan's IEP teacher, Claire, and her husband, Brock. We slept in the same bed because we were afraid of not waking up next to each other. We would go over and over what we were going to say to the social workers, that our parents never did drugs, that it was never even a bad situation. We just wanted to be back in their lives. We lived with Brock and Claire for about a year, and things got better. I still struggled with anger issues. I would slam doors, scream, and get into fights. But they never gave up on me. Brock got me into basketball and on our rec team. We'd bike every day and shoot hoops. He treated me like I mattered, and I felt valuable to someone. Claire was the first real mother figure I'd ever had in my life. But we had to move on because their living situation changed, and they could no longer keep us. We all cried, but to this day, we still keep in touch. So we had to start over again with a new family. This family wanted us to go to a Mormon church, and we've been raised Christian. The best thing about that placement was they got me into Boy Scouts. I went to camp and learned a lot of stuff, like how to start a fire and tie knots. But that placement didn't work out either. Sometimes I would hear that it didn't work out because of my anger issues, but no one gave me the help I needed, and I became really depressed. Our next placement was a single-parent foster home. A teacher named Ryan. While living with him, I got into football, and it turned out I was pretty good. Freshman on a varsity team, huh? There were 4 boys living there, and we all got close. We'd play Xbox and go outside and play sports. Right when we were starting the adoption process, we found out there was an issue with Ryan's adopted son that made it impossible for us to stay. We'd been living there for almost 2 years, and we were so close to having a permanent family. But yet again, it didn't work out. It felt like another person was just abandoning us. But then we met Troy. He was actually standing right there. Hope I didn't embarrass you. Troy shows me what love is. I have tested him a lot to see if he means what he says. That we are really there for good. Troy and I built trust. Even when I would have angry outbursts or say mean things to him, he would tell me, quote unquote, "You can tell me you can do all this, but I'm still never letting you go." I know he has always had my back for everything. I finally realized I could relax, and a lot of my anger has just been gone away, knowing I have a stable placement. Troy got me into wrestling. I am now a freshman on varsity football again and wrestling teams at Kenwood High School. Sports helped me cope with my feelings, and I have also helped me make friends. I've been working with Haley, my Treehouse education specialist, for almost 2 years. When we started talking, I had D's and F's, but then she helped me get that support I needed to be successful, and now I have A's and B's. Treehouse arranged for me to get a math tutor when I was struggling with my homework. Haley is always there for me. If I have an issue with the teacher, she will be right on it, talking to the teacher and making sure I get what I need. We set goals together. Right now I have a goal to get at least a 2.8 GPA this semester. We also talk about what future goals like a career I want. Law enforcement runs in my family, police, Navy SEALs, and military, and I want to carry on that tradition. I may join the military or maybe the police academy when I graduate. Right now I'm focused on sports and school. Youth in the foster care may have a different story than most kids, but it doesn't mean we are different from anyone else. You never know what people have been through. I knew Ashley from school, who just actually spoke. We shared second period together, but I didn't know she was also in foster care until we both agreed to speak here today. I would never have guessed she was like me in so many ways. Kids in foster care need people to believe in them. They need parents like Troy and a chance to find out what they are good at, like playing football. They need a place like Treehouse that helps them stay on track to graduation. Thank you for being here to support us.